Once upon a time, there was a great author who, with a single story, transformed a holiday. Along the way, other artists found inspiration in this story, creating their own versions of the work. Some were good, some were bad, some were complete train wrecks. Recently, an idiot spent a year and a half collecting these versions. The goal? Create a new narrative, using a small portion of each source to tell it. What is the story, you ask? I would guess you watch it every year.
Hey, look! A Christmas Carol! That's one of my favorite plays.
I have endeavored in this ghostly little story
to raise the ghost of an idea, which shall not put my readers out of
humor with themselves, with each other, or
the season, or with me. May it haunt your houses pleasantly.
Their faithful friend and servant, Charles Dickens, December 1843.
Stave 1. Marley's Ghost.
Good evening. Marley. Marley was dead to begin with. There's no doubt whatever about that. Dead as a doornail, yes. Marley was dead.
Marley is dead. Marley is dead. Marley is dead.
The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it. And Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to.
There is no doubt that Marley was dead. This must be distinctly understood, or nothing wonderful can come of the story I am going to relate.
Scrooge certainly knew Marley had advanced into a post-life situation. The two had been business partners for many years.
But Scrooge never bothered to paint out his name over the door. It was a waste of time, paint, and money.
There it stood years afterward, Scrooge and Marley.
In the years since Marley's death, Scrooge had only become richer. London had since built a 12-foot wall around the city's perimeter to keep the undead out, of which Scrooge made quite a bit of profit on.
Sometimes people new to the business called Scrooge.
And sometimes Marley, but he answered to both names. It was all the same to him.
Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner.
This jive-ass fool's so damn shiesty that he don't throw out ends for nobody.
You don't get to be in the position Scrooge was in by being a dummy. It wasn't just that people were scared of him, and believe me, they were. It was that people trusted in him always being 5 steps ahead of the game.
Hard and sharp as flint, from which no steel had ever struck out generous fire. The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shriveled his cheek, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red, his thin lips blue.
Our story begins one cold, wintry day in the accounting office of Scrooge.
188.7.
His clerk, Bob Cratchit, shivered in a dismal little cell not far beyond Scrooge. Subtly, Cratchit lurched out of his dingy chamber, shovel in hand, as he tiptoed to the coal box.
And what do you think you're about to do with that coal scuttle, Mr. Cratchit?
Scrooge humphed and used her cane of pure onyx stone to kick the coal out of his hands, it landing in the emergency fuel bucket beside the stove.
Mr. Scrooge pointedly looks up from the falling coal and arches an eyebrow at me. And I squeak. I squeak because my mean, angry, bellowing boss is the hottest, sexiest man I've ever laid eyes on.
Coal costs money, Cratchit. Perhaps if you paid more attention to the work that I handsomely pay you for, you wouldn't mind a cold.
Do you have any idea how much it takes to heat this place? Scrooge then asked his head accountant, and naturally, Cratchit did. It was an exorbitant amount. Scrooge poked him in the chest firmly with one bony finger. Dress in layers.
Now get back to your stool and get to work.
Yes, sir.
Merry Christmas, Uncle.
God save you.
Bah. Humbug. Bah. Humbug.
Bah!
Humbug.
Christmas? A humbug, Uncle? You don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
What right have you to be dismal? You're rich enough. Humbug. 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 Now, Uncle, don't be cross.
What else can I be when I live in such a world of fools?
Merry Christmas. What's Christmas time to you, nephew, but a time for paying bills without money? A time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer? Why,
if I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
I believe Christmas to be a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable time.
This is supposed to be the time everybody gets with it.
You show me a way to make $100 every Christmas, and I'll fall in love with it. Every time the holidays roll around, nobody pays their bills, and they all run around like they own the Chrysler Building.
Christmas trees, presents, happy people. I hate Christmas.
You keep Christmas in your way. I'll keep it in mine. You don't keep it. Don't you see? It's a time we share our blessings with one another.
You see, Uncle, I've always thought of Christmas as a time for good, not a time for profit.
It's such a wonderful time of year for me. Everybody's a little nicer to each other, a little kinder everywhere you go. It's like for a little while, everybody remembers we're all in this together.
And therefore, Uncle, though it's never put silver in my pocket, I say God bless Christmas.
Yeah.
Scrooge glared at his one and only employee. One more sand out of you, Cratchit, and you'll be searching through the positions vacant. And there ain't too many positions vacant in Dandaloo Shire, I can tell you that.
You're quite a powerful speaker, sir. It's a wonder you don't go into Parliament.
You gonna sit here by yourself on Christmas Eve?
You know, that's exactly right. I am.
Well, nobody's tombstone ever said, I wish I'd spent more time at work.
Son, I'm not going to waste my time sitting around and singing Christmas carols.
Christmas spirit is a cancer. It just eats away at your core. I'm much happier being a mean old son of a bitch.
Christmas is a great time of year if you enjoy out-of-tune caroling, wasting money, fighting with every overweight man and woman on earth, trying to get the last tickle me Elmo at Walmart. Okay, I get that. So I feel like I could go on, or I could just say, screw Christmas, and I'm not going to your freaking party.
Oh, well. I tried. Merry Christmas.
Stop it. I can't believe we're related.
I pity you, Uncle. Maybe I'll never be as rich as you, but I'll go to my grave still believing in a Merry Christmas.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Good afternoon.
A Merry Christmas to you anyway, Uncle.
Bah humbug!
Bah humbug.
Bah humbug, bitch. Now get out of my face.
His nephew left the room without an angry word.
This lunatic, in letting Scrooge's nephew out, had let two other people in.
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe.
Who are you?
We're from the Order of Victoria Charity Foundation. We'd like to speak to you about a donation.
Do I have the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years. Died 7 years ago this very night.
Our condolences for your partner.
We have no doubt his liberality is well represented by his surviving partner.
At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable that we should make some slight provision for the poor and destitute.
Are there no prisons?
Oh, plenty of prisoners, plenty of prisoners.
And the workhouses, are they still in operation?
They are, sir. I wish I could say they were not.
I'm very glad to hear it. For a moment, I was afraid that something had occurred to stop them in their useful purpose.
I don't think you quite understand us, sir.
A few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund that will end the impediments they face. While in some quarters, laborers must even pass a GED exam. What does knowledge of algebra have to do with a man's ability to work at a steel mill? Now, what can I put you down for?
Nothing.
You wish to be anonymous.
I wish to be left alone.
Since you ask me what I wish for, that is my answer. I am trying to count my gate from my most recent event.
Surely, Mr. Scrooge, someone as well off as yourself can afford to donate something.
I certainly can, but I won't.
But Steve, we're talking about kids. I mean, orphans who have nothing.
I know all about orphanages, and I know all about orphans, and I'm not interested.
If you could just see these children...
I'd probably puke. I don't like dogs. I don't like kids.
But in the spirit of Christmas, surely you... Not my job to save the world.
God forbid. That'd mean you cared about people.
Sir, maybe you could find a way to accommodate both your needs.
Pearson, you're way out of line here.
Yes, sir.
I pay my taxes. I conduct my business in a fair and equitable manner. I contribute to the national coffers. I feel no debt against my conscience.
I help to support the establishments that I have mentioned. Those who are badly off must go there.
But, sir, many can't go there, and many would rather die.
Die? Well, we'd better do that.
We already have a surplus population.
Or they can be accommodated in the jails and asylums I pay taxes for.
It's not my business. What is my business? You've dragged snow and slush into my office. And you, sir, seems I've caught you cavorting with some unseemly types of both sexes before. It's enough for a man to understand his own business and not to interfere with other people's. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
The taste of nuts and honey, Mr. Scrooge.
Come back. Better things to do.
Right on time when it comes to leaving, eh, Cratchit?
Closing early, and the whole day tomorrow, Cratchit?
That's what you said.
You expect me to pay you?
If it's convenient.
Yes, well, it's not convenient and it's not fair. I gave you the whole day off last year. I hope this doesn't turn into a habit.
Well, Mr. Scrooge, to be honest, I was sort of expecting you to give me the whole day off. I mean,
it is Christmas.
Old hat, Cratchit. That went out with button shoes.
Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December.
I suppose you better have the whole day. But be back all the earlier next morning.
Yes, sir. Oh, thank you, sir. Good day, sir. Oh, and Merry Christmas, mister.
Christmas, bah, humbug. All Christmas means to me is a nasty old cold.
You should take NyQuil, sir.
NyQuil? What's NyQuil?
Nighttime cold medicine from Vicks. Got to go now.
NyQuil?
Scrooge sat alone in the Bethlehem Inn, without a friend in the world. He loved no one. He worshipped only money. The rich innkeeper was a poor lost soul, sitting alone in his darkened room.
Scrooge remained at his desk for a while to read the day's newspapers. Satisfied that no journalist had an inkling of his plans, he made his way out of his office.
After closing time, Scrooge walked through the crowded streets, taking no notice of the merry people rushing home to their loved ones.
Scrooge trudged through the snow-filled streets on her way to her house on the hill. Snow-filled, in this case, being a little over an inch of the freshly fallen white stuff. She glanced up the street.
The city's adobe buildings glowed with luminaries. The cold, crisp air was fragrant with chocolate a la taza, steaming tamales, and piñon incense. It all made Scrooge feel mareado, sick.
Bah, the whole place is a bedlam. Christmas, bah, humbug! That's what it is, humbug!
In his mind, he saw them as hordes of bloated ignoramus, edging the country closer and closer to financial oblivion with every wasted Christmas pound.
Blinded to the glances and raised eyebrows directed his way, Eben continued across the path.
the clink of his spurs accompanying each hard strike of his heel.
He knew there'd be a celebration up in Rodath, as there was every year, but there'd probably be a lot of people at that shindig, and he'd had enough of people.
Scrooge took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern, and having read all the newspapers, spent the rest of the evening with his banker's book before going home to bed.
He lived in chambers, which had once belonged to his deceased partner, a gloomy suite of rooms in a lowering pile of a building up a dismal yard.
His house was old and dreary, for nobody lived in it but Scrooge, the other rooms being all let out as offices.
Through the frost and the fog, Scrooge walked to his place, when there, on his knocker, he saw Marley's face.
It was not in impenetrable shadow, but had a dismal light about it. It was not angry or ferocious, but looked at Scrooge as Marley used to look, with ghostly spectacles turned up upon its ghostly forehead.
The hairs were curiously stirred, like flames blown from a chimney draught, and through the death-cold eyes, Scrooge saw the buttons on the back of his coat. Scrooge.
Marley?
It would seem that the door knocker spontaneously morphed into the face of Marley. As unexpected as this would be, a typical Klingon would surely react with the disruptor shot to the hallucination's face.
Beware.
Sworn that was old Jake's face in the knocker. They must be working too hard.
Now, old Scrooge was never one to take a fright. But he locked all his doors and shut the windows up tight.
Quite satisfied, he closed his door and locked himself in.
I slurped at my soup, careful not to get any on Mr. Snazzy in case he'd wake up and yell at me.
An icy wind blew through the room.
What was that?
Then died instantly, as if it had only been the breath of some merciless giant.
Who's there?
The bells ceased as they had begun together.
Put some vibrato into it.
Suddenly, the cellar door flies open, and slowly, up the stairs, heavy footsteps.
Oh my goodness, it could be a thief. I've got a rather large weapon in here, and I'm not afraid to use it.
In the flickering light of my solitary candle, I saw it. Its eyes were staring into mine, two dead eyes, staring out of a dead face.
He had seen this face on the dust jackets of books and on countless pulp adventure magazines, but now the dashing face, once so handsome and self-assured, looked gaunt, pained, and racked with untold agonies.
What do you want from me?
Much. How did you get in here?
Through the wall.
Who are you anyway?
Ask me who I was,
Who was you? Who were you?
In life, I was your partner. But now I'm some dead guy with cool chains.
First name Jacob, last name Marley, middle initial T.
He looked very much like Scrooge remembered him, except that he was transparent and dragged heavy chains from his arms and legs.
Mind if I sit down? This haunting business is mighty on the feet.
You don't believe in me? You're right, I don't.
Do you believe in Christmas then?
Certainly not.
What evidence would you have of my reality beyond that of your own senses?
I don't know.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheats.
You may be a bit of undigested beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato.
Or perhaps still, you're some electrical disturbance of the nervous system. Maybe Marley's grave, your grave, was struck by lightning. Oh, I hear the damp clay of a London graveyard preserves corpses hardly decayed.
There's more of gravy than of grave about you, I'm sure of that.
No, Ebenezer, there is more of the grave to me than gravy.
It's all humbug, I tell you.
It's humbug, I tell you.
Humbug, I tell you.
Humbug, I tell you. Humbug.
Humbug? Humbug?
Gabby, you're dead?
It's me, all right. The man who taught you every dirty trick in the book, and then some.
Do you believe in me or not?
I do. I must, but...
What is the reason for this visit? It is getting late and I've been hard at work.
I'm here to warn you, kid. Don't waste your life like I did. What are you talking about?
I'm here to tell you that if you don't change your ways, you're gonna lose everything.
I come to save you from sharing my fate, you cheap sucker.
It's not too late for you to reform.
I'm here to show you how your lousy holiday attitude affects the people you love.
Oh, so this is supposed to help me discover the true meaning of Christmas? No dice.
Fitzwilliam Ebenezer Darcy Scrooge, I will not allow you to sit here alone, drinking yourself to an early grave.
All you think about is the almighty dollar. That's all you care about, just yourself.
It is required of every man that the spirit within him
should walk abroad among his fellow men.
And travel far and wide. And if that spirit goes not forth in life,
It is condemned to do so after death.
And it is doomed to wander through the world and witness what it cannot share.
God, you're in chains.
I thought you quit the whips and chains when you broke up with that guy from Paramus.
I wear the chain I forged in life.
I made it of my own free will when I ignored the unpopular and the suffering.
Link by link, yard by yards.
But all it brought me was misery. Hey, you followed your bliss. And now I'm doomed to wander the earth.
I don't remember you making chains. Don't you get it? Every time Brer Wolf was bad or mean to folks, he made another piece of the chain he has to carry after he is dead.
But how could this happen? You were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Mankind was my business.
Charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence were all my business.
But I have good news.
I've come
to warn you.
So you can have a chance of escaping my fate.
A chance of hypercuting Ebenezer.
Oh, thank you, Jacob. Thank you. You always were a good friend.
All right, hang on. I got a couple of lines here. Tonight you will be visited by 3 ghosts.
3 ghosts.
3 times more.
3 spirits.
3 apparitions.
3 spirits.
3 spirits.
Some ghosts or something.
3 hosts.
3 spirits.
3 spirits.
3 ghosts.
3 ghosts.
3 ghosts.
3 spirits.
3 ghosts.
3 spirits.
3 spirits.
By 3 ghosts.
3 ghosts.
Each more terrifying than the last.
Who are going to take you on a long journey, and when you come back, you're going to be a changed man, aren't you?
Is that the chance and hope that you mentioned, Jacob? It is.
To
To change your ways, you must re-witness your evil deeds.
Not until the visits are over will your fate be decided.
Expect the first tonight when the bell tolls 1.
The second when the clock strikes 2.
The last one somewhere around 3. Sorry, I can't be seeing ghosts. I got a flight. I got to get some sleep. Can we do this after the holidays?
You can't fight what's coming.
Without these visitors, you cannot hope to avoid the path that I have tread in my life.
Look to see me no more, and look that for your own sake you remember what has passed between us.
Heed my words, sucker. 3 ghosts, fool.
There it goes!
Desperate in his curiosity, Scrooge ran to the window. The air filled with phantoms, wandering hither and thither, moaning as they went. Each one wore chains like Marley's ghost. Some were linked together, none were free. Their misery was that they sought to interfere for good in human matters and had lost the power forever.
That's it, go and piss off back to Narnia.
And with that, Jacob Marley faded from sight, doomed forever to roam the land as a travelling accessory sales executive for Armitage Shanks.
Scrooge tried desperately to say humbug to the strange happening, but the word stuck in his throat, unuttered.
He could not remember exactly where, but he had once read that an oral hallucination sometimes signals the onset of a stroke.
The dream of her Christmas angel had been so very real. She half expected the robed form standing at her bedside.
Whether it was the ordeal he had just experienced or the effect of the white noise machine in the background, he crawled to his tatami mat in the bedroom and immediately fell asleep.
Stave 2, the first of the 3 spirits.
Cade in un sonno agitato. Incubi e realtà si confondevano nella sua mente.
Humbug.
London?
Get up.
What? Who's there? Jennifer, what are you doing here?
Sorry to be late, but the traffic was simply dreadful. Everyone hurrying to Earth for the holidays. Who are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas.
Past, present, or future?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
What the hell?
Think of me as the spirit of Yom Kippur past.
Ghost of Christmas past.
I am the spirit of Christmas past.
The doorknob should have mentioned I was coming.
Just doing my usual rounds, a wee bit of haunting, getting misers to change their evil ways. Well, what do you want?
I want you to remember back to a Christmas when you were a joyful, generous little fellow.
I'm back.
I'm not interested. I'm going back to sleep.
Now you listen directly to me.
You and I are going on a little trip into the past.
So what Marley said about ghosts visiting is true, unless I'm dreaming.
It's time for us to begin our journey.
Are you crazy? That's 12 floors down.
Touch but my hand and you will be upheld in more than this. Would I tamper with a classic?
Scrooge took note of how the spirit's long hair streamed out as they sped along. Surely it is not possible to tell whether you're moving, as only movement relative to other bodies is meaningful. I feel no atmosphere and no wind, so why does your hair blow out so as we move? Oh, that, replied the Phantom. Just an illustration that makes it easier to show our speed.
This flying is all right.
Really? I could never get the hang of it.
What?
Shut up!
The glowing ghost smiled and tickled old Ebenezer's balls to get his attention, then pointed across the field.
I know this place.
You should, Ozu. This is your past.
What?
An involuntary smile spread across Scrooge's face as he watched all his old school friends running past. Hello, hello, he shouted to each one. Why, there's young Melonhead. And shit for brains. Ooh, there goes Helmet.
Look at it, it's Ebenezer.
Oh, Scrooge was as giddy as a boy on crack.
She can't hear you. You're spectator this time.
Come on, take me where you must.
Welcome.
And that happy little boy is you. 'Tis Christmas morn, 1970.
Look, the babies all have presents.
Ooh, look! I got a rattle. Look how much I like getting a Christmas present.
Mommy, I didn't buy you anything for Christmas.
Oh, honey, that's all right. Mommy don't really need anything.
Get me away from here, Spirit.
Why, don't you like seeing your mommy?
That Christmas was ruined just like I ruined every other Christmas. Did ya?
Well...
Let's go back and see, shall we? Ooh,
Where have you taken me, ghost of Christmas past? The air here is so clean and different than the city.
Look around you, Ebenezer Scrooge. I think you'll recognize this place from your younger days.
Hilly ho, cried old Fezziwig, skipping down from the high desk.
Bless his heart, it's Fezziwig, alive again.
Young Ebenezer had a cast-iron stomach and tight abs. He was tall, handsome, and could wheel and deal with the best of them. But tonight, he only had eyes for Belle.
Even though her gown fell to the floor and had a high collar, it was evident she had a full, rich body.
Belle had a bit of a scare earlier that night, Scrooge recalled aloud. She told me she was followed to Fezziwig's by vampires. Scrooge smiled again. Belle was like that, fanciful. She saw vampires on every street corner.
Old Scrooge followed the couple as they walked away. Down the Rue Bonaparte, he listened to his former self as he, still a child in so many ways, nevertheless spoke as if with ancient knowledge.
Scrooge took Belle into his arms and kissed her hard. His hands, never had hands touched her so gently or wreaked such havoc upon her body.
I have never loved, and I never can love, any human creature living but yourself.
Bitch, what the f*** is you doing?
You are changed. I have seen your nobler aspirations fall off one by one until the master passion gains and grosses you.
Scrooge's eyes locked on the spirit because he would not, could not watch this scary scene any longer. Belle, the woman with eyes that seemed to see straight into his soul until he stopped having a soul.
May you be happy with the path that you have chosen.
Baby, baby.
You still think about him, don't you? Some night you even wonder what life would have been like.
By the time I had recovered, my entire life had changed. Then my sister got herself pregnant.
Always thought that if I were to leave this world.
From that day on, I never trusted nobody again.
Is that a tear?
Oh, don't be ridiculous. It's the smoke.
Can we return to my palace now? If you insist, Your Madge, hang on. We now return you to our regular programming. What?
Well, this is Robbie Screech, inviting you to join me.
I must have dozed off.
And that was his dream of Christmas past.
Fascinating. In a childish way, of course.
Stave, Part 3, the second of the three spirits. Wait, I don't think that's right.
Scrooge jerked awake viciously, abruptly, his cock throbbing against his belly, pulsating and aching like a bad tooth, and he heard.
Suddenly, Princess Vanessa had another visitor.
Come in and know me better, man.
The ghost was about 5 feet nothing, wearing a micro mini dress, silver stockings, and white patent leather go-go boots.
Who are you? What do you want?
You know who I am.
Oh, right. You.
You can call me the ghost of Christmas present.
I am the ghost of Christmas present.
I'm your ghost of Christmas present.
I am the ghost of the Christmas present.
I'm Christmas present. Can you dig it?
Oh, a Christmas present. That's nice.
No, you hamburger.
Not to be confused with the ghost of Christmas presents, which is an entirely different thing altogether.
Unexpectedly, the spirit lifted the crown off its head and swept back its cape with a dramatic flourish of the left hand, taking a little bow. I'm doing this for the greater good of rock music, said a ghost, for I have seen what you could do if you only took your head out of your arse.
I am here to show you the humble condo of your assistant vice president, Bob Cratchit.
Oh boy, I should have fired him a long time ago.
All right, Scrooge, grab hold of my robe. Buckle up. It's hasta la vista time.
Why? Why should I? I just need to wake up from this dream.
I have to take you. You have to see.
I have something to show you.
I really don't have time for this.
The ghost sniffed the air.
This is the place, if I've led us right.
This is the home of Bob and Emily Cratchit and their young son, Tiny Tim.
There never was such a goose.
It's a good bird, Bob.
And reasonable, too.
I'd like to stroke it.
Then a toast, my love, my dearies, to our Merry Christmas. God bless us.
God bless us. God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone. God bless us, everyone. God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone. Right.
That child, he has a crutch. He is a cripple?
The crutch supports his body. His spirit stands alone.
Does he live or die? Is that important to you? Yes, it's important.
So wise, so young, they say, do never live long. I see a vacant seat in the chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future...
The child will die. Oh, you say he will be spared. If he is like to die, had he not better do it and decrease the surplus population?
What have I done?
You can change this.
Can I?
I feel horrible. Well, then my job here is done. Peace on earth, out!
I'll leave you to the final ghost, but I warn you, he's not as friendly as I am.
Hey, I thought she'd never leave. That's better.
Stave 4, the last of the spirits.
I am the ghost of Halloween future.
I'm the ghost of Christmas future.
I am the spirit of Christmas to come.
Ghost of Christmas future.
I am the ghost of Christmas future.
Abba-dabba-doo-doo, this'll suit ya. I'm now the spirit of Christmas future.
It wore a gray robe, which totally hid the figure within, except for two pale, skinny hands that protruded from the sleeve.
Oh, it is you that I fear more so than the other two. What is it, spirit? What is it that you want from me?
This is the part where you show me my bleak future, isn't it?
She grasped me with a gnarled and bony hand and whisked me through the calendars of time
into the future.
Hey, what's going on here? Where are we?
Hollywood. Only now it's called Bin Laden City.
They wandered through the city, and Scrooge heard some men talking about a person who had died. Scrooge knew the men and wanted to find out whom they were talking about.
Well, when did the old fossil kick off?
Last night. They called me just as I got home from the concert.
I thought he'd never croak.
What did he do with all his money?
I don't know. Probably left it to Nixon's defense fund.
Well, he hasn't left it to me, that's all I know. And it's likely it's going to be a very cheap funeral, for upon my life, I don't know anybody who's going to go to it.
I don't mind going to his funeral if lunch is provided.
They left the scene and went into an obscure part of the town where Scrooge had never penetrated before, although he recognized its situation and its bad repute. The ways were foul and narrow, the shops and houses wretched, the people half-naked, drunken, slipshod, ugly, and the whole quarter reeked with crime, with filth and misery.
Well, old Scratch got his at last. I thought the old skinflint would live to bury me, the way he worked me to the bone for nothing.
Been lying there for 3 days, I wager. Thank God for the cold.
No one knew, and no one cared.
Who would have cared if they knew?
Why are you showing me this spirit? Them ladies ain't got much sympathy or respect for the dead, I suppose. But what's it got to do with me?
A haunting we will go. A haunting we will go.
They'd reached an iron gate, a churchyard.
A graveyard. Why did we pause here?
And the ghost slowly turned and stretched out a long, thin, bony finger. And there, right at the end of that finger, was a tombstone, all covered with weeds.
Scrooge, cringing and trembling, followed by the ghost of Christmas yet to come to the grave.
Before I draw nearer to that stone to which you point, answer me one question.
Are these the shadows of the things that will be, or are they shadows of the things that may be only?
Scrooge advanced towards it, trembling as he went, and read upon the stone of the neglected grave
his own name.
Ebenezer Scrooge. No.
I then saw a dim flash of movement, just a blur at the bottom of the hole. I couldn't help myself. I was too terrified to run, too terrified to move.
But no, she thought. It can't be too late. Even a murderer on death row can receive a last-minute reprieve from the governor. It can't be too late.
Please, tell me I still have time to change.
I can change things, I can change. I don't want this.
Spirit, hear me, hear me. I am not the man I was. I will not be the man I have been. Why show me this if I am past all hope? Assure me that I yet may change these shadows you have shown me by an altered life.
I will honor Christmas in my heart, and I'll keep it all the year.
I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. Oh, tell me that I may sponge away the writing on this stone.
Surely there is some time to reform my selfish ways. Come on, Death. Leave McGrew alone. Take Tiny Jim.
I threw up my hands, covered my eyes, and for the first time in as long as I could remember, released a prayer from the heart.
Remember what you have learned this night, Ebenezer Scrooge. Remember.
You're listening to 1200 Ghosts, your station for the smoothest jazz hits of yesterday and today. It's 10 past the hour, and next up we have something for all you lovers out there. First released back in 1843, it's Stave 5 with their hit single, The End of It. Enjoy.
The bed was his own, the room was his own. Best and happiest of all, the time before him was his own to make amends in.
That's it. I gotta be more like the man in the mirror and make that change, man. Got to make the change.
Club, we're blowing stacks in the club. Stacks in the club. Stacks in the club.
Hey there, you lad!
Yes, sir? Are you talking to me?
Can you tell me what day it is?
Christmas Day.
What? Do with an English accent. It's Christmas Day.
Christmas Day? I haven't missed it.
The spirits did it all in one night. Well, they can do anything they like. Of course they can.
Do you know the Canadian Tire down the street?
I should hope I did.
What an intelligent boy.
And have you seen that big bag of Walker's Crisp potato snack in his window?
Yes, sir.
Do you think it'll still be there this fine festive morn?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're wrong, because I bought it yesterday.
And do you know the Dynacharge 6-cell quick charger?
The one with bonus batteries for just $19.99 this week?
Oh, delightful boy.
Tell me, have they sold the prize turkey that was hanging there, not the little turkey, the big one?
You mean the one as big as me?
No! I mean one small enough for the average family of 6, including formerly lame boy. You don't need much.
It'll be hanging there now.
He said, go get that bird. Here's a 20. He knocks a 20 on him. Here's 10 more for a cab. And here's $5 for your sister. And here's $22.50 for your uncle's new bicycle. And he said, tell anybody wants anything, see Scrooge.
Whoosh!
He dressed himself all in his best and at last got out into the streets. The people were by this time pouring forth as he had seen them with the ghost of Christmas present, and walking with his hands behind him, Scrooge regarded every one with a delighted smile.
Uncle Scrooge!
I was just wondering if you all could spare a little Christmas cheer for one of your fellow citizens, namely me.
Who is it, Fred? I don't recognize the voice.
Merry Christmas, my dear. Come in, Uncle.
Oh, Martha, take my friend into the kitchen, please.
Don't tell me that's a ghost.
Close. It is a 25-pound turkey.
Claymore, you're not yourself.
I know. Delightful, aren't I?
You certainly are.
Giggling, dancing, and shrieking prevailed, and as the evening wore on, were carried to the very edge of the unseemly.
Rudy, be a dear and open another 20-pack.
McDonald's Chicken McNuggets 20-pack makes every holiday party happy and fun.
Oh, but he was an open-handed benefactor now, Scrooge. A generous, charitable, jolly, gleeful, munificent old fool.
Scrooge here. I've turned over a new leaf after leafing through Sears' Gifts of Value supplement from the newspaper.
He became as good a friend, as good an employer, as good a man as any in the good old county. Or any other good old county, city, or town in this good old world.
And Tiny Tim got better, and everyone loved Scrooge and called him a generous old man.
But what of Jacob? He could not help but smile, knowing that Scrooge was free.
And so, as Tiny Tim observes,
God bless us, all y'all, everyone.
God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone.
Dios nos bendiga a todos.
What you talking about, everyone?
God blesses everyone.
You have just watched The Christmas Carol in Supercut. Coming up next, we transport you to the land of Eternia, joining Prince Adam and Princess Adora as they team up during the holiday season in He-Man and She-Ra, a Christmas special, starting now.
Ugh, poor Charles Dickens.
Forgive us, Charlie.
And I'll be a Scrooge. I give it thumbs down. They don't change the story. This is simply Dickens' Christmas Carol. Ghost of Christmas past, present, and future, Bob Cratchit, and so forth, just like in the book. 2 thumbs down. A flat, uninspired retelling of the story of Scrooge.
Bah humbug. Bah humbug.
Bah humbug.
Bah humbug. Humbug, I tell you. Humbug. Humbug. Bah humbug.
Christmas, sir, is a humbug.
Humbug. Humbug. Humbug. Humbug. Humbug, I said, and humbug I mean. Bah humbug. 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 Bah humbug. Humbug. Bah humbug. Humbug, I tell you. Humbug. Bah humbug. It's all humbug, I tell you. Bah humbug. Merry humbug. Bah humbug. It's another humbug. Bah humbug. Bah humbug. Humbug. Bah
Bah! Humbug!
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 Bah! Humbug!
Bah! Humbug! Humbug, I tell you! Humbug!
Bah! Humbug!
Humbug! Humbug! Humbug!
Well, bah, humduck.
Bah humbug to the whole thing! Humbug!
Bah! Humbug!
Bah humbug!
Humbug.
Humbug! Bah humbug!
Bah, humduck.
Oh, humbug!
Bah, humbug.
Humbug!
Humbug!
Bah, humbug.
Humbug!
Humbug! Bah humbug! Bah humbug!
Humbug.
Humbug! Humbug! Humbug!
Bah, nah, humbug.
Bah humbug! Humbug! It's humbug! I'm telling you, it's a humbug! Humbug!
Bah! Humbug!
Humbug, Mr. Boric! Bah humbug! Bah humbug! Bah humbug! Humbug!
Humbug, I tell you. Humbug.
Bah humbug!
Bah humglitch!
Humbug?
Bah humbug!
Bah, humduck.
Bah humbug! Bah humbug! Bah humbug! Bah humbug!
Humbug!
Humbug! Bah humbug! Bah humbug to that! Bah humbug! Bah humbug!
Bah a fucking humbug.
Bah humbug! Bah humbug! Bah humbug!
Bah humbug.
Bah humbug! 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 Bah humbug! Bah humbug!
Bah humbug, sucker!
Bah humbug!
Bah humbug!
Bah humbug, bitch! Now get out of my face!
Bah, humbug.
Bah humbug!
Humbug.
Humbug!
Humbug! Bah humbug! Bah humbug! Bah humbug! Bah humbug! Bah humbug! Bah humbug! Humbug! Humbug!
Bah, humbug.
Bah humbug, everybody!
Bah, humbug.
No more bah humbugs for me. Bah humbug! Bah humbug! Humbug! Bah humbug!
Demba bah humbug.
Humbug.
Bah, humbug.
Thank you again for watching 1200 Ghosts, A Christmas Carol in Supercut. At this joyous time of the season, may we all remember this immortal classic, also remembering its lessons and the meaning of the holiday. As Charles Dickens immortalized,
Baba boy, Howard Stern's penis!
I've seen a few of them, I've not seen them all. I've never seen any animated versions. Oh, I've seen animated cartoons, the more modern versions. What I mean is I've never seen the old-fashioned pencil drawing animated versions. They were really cool. I've never seen a really modern version. I kind of want to see one now. I want to watch them.